Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today Efforts and I spent the whole day making Warden Farms. So it's really easy. I'm gonna show you 3 different designs today. Right, first let's take a look at the Shrieker. So this is the block that is required to summon a Warden. You can only find it in a deep dark biome, you can actually mine it with Silk Touch, but if you place it back down, it does not have the can summon true tag. So this is important. The only place you can make a Warden Farm is actually in the deep dark. So if you would place the Shrieker down somewhere else, it says can summon false, so it wouldn't work. So be careful to not break the Shrieker in case you want to make a Warden Farm. Right, so apart from that, it's super simple. When the Shrieker shrieks, the Warden will be spawned in a certain area around the Shrieker, which I outlined here. So it's an 11 by 11 platform that is within those blocks of the Shrieker. And to activate it, I guess the simplest while you're AFK for your Warden Farm is just to stand on the Shrieker. Then it takes about roughly 5 seconds until he would spawn. So the Shrieker would also only spawn on the highest block within the range. So if you would have spawning spaces that are technically available, but there's others above, he would always spawn on the highest block. In previous versions, it was still possible to prevent Warden spawning by placing on some light sources. This is no longer the case. Light is completely ignored now, and the Warden can spawn in any light conditions. You can prevent Warden spawning by placing down some blocks. So Warden can spawn, for example, in glass leaves, so blocks that are usually not available for mob spawning. But he can't spawn if you place down carpet, for example, or slabs. They can also not spawn on soul sand or mud blocks, which are on the full block. So there's a way to prevent the Warden spawning. Similar to Iron Golem spawning, the Shrieker also attempts to spawn the Warden multiple times in case it would fail. So it's 20 times in total. So it selects one of those 121 blocks, so within this 11 by 11 randomly. If it can spawn it, all good. If it fails, because for example there's no available spawning space, then just tries 19 times more. And yeah, this is kind of important because we actually don't need an 11 by 11 spawning platform, because for example with a 7 by 7 you already have a 99.997% chance that the spawning attempt would succeed. With a 5 by 5 it's still 99%, and if you would only make, for example, a 2 by 11 platform, it's still 98.19%. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of farming concepts. This is probably the easiest. We just have a player AFKing on top of the Shrieker, spawning a Warden. I'm just gonna place down a bot real quick. And then we just have a 7 by 7 platform to spawn the Warden. And the Warden will actually be attracted by the noise we make with the observer clock here. So it would run towards it, goes into the bubble column, and then gets sent up there. So the Shrieker can only spawn a new Warden if there's no Warden within 24 blocks. So this would be a sphere around the Shrieker. And in order to kill the Warden, we can use different strategies. So we could either drown him like this, or we could use entry cramming, which we use for the other 2 farm designs. So the downside of this farm is the Shrieker tries to spawn a new Warden every 10 seconds. But it takes the Warden already almost 7 seconds to climb out of the blocks. And then it takes him some time to walk over there, and until he's finally out of range, it takes a little bit of time. So with this type of farm, getting around 210 of the Skull Catalyst is actually the drop of the Warden. So there we go. This block here, which you need for some Skull block farms. This is the only reason basically to make a Warden farm. In order to increase the efficiency of this farm, we have to speed up the whole process. A very simple way to get the Warden out of the reach of the Shrieker would be just using portals. You just saw it. The Warden goes immediately to the Nether while he's still in that digging animation. There we go. Next one immediately goes to the Nether. So we're just using a 7 by 7 portal here in case you really want the full 100% efficiency instead of 99.997%. Then you can also make an 11 by 11. Alright, let's see what happens in the Nether. Alright, so the Warden arrives in the Nether, still has to climb out of the obsidian. And then, of course, we need to get him out of the portal. We're using the node block trick again. So the Warden is pathfinding towards it. Use the powder snow that the Warden will try to walk over, and some trapdoors here on the side. Then one just sinks down, and here we have 24 minecarts in there to kill all the wardens with entity cramming. You could, by the way, also try to kill them with fall damage, but the nether is not high enough. I tried it out. You would need to fall around 260 blocks on top of some pointed dripstone to be killed by fall damage. So that's why I think entity cramming is really the best solution here. So with the portal design, we're actually getting a warden every 10 seconds, so we're getting 360 skull catalysts per hour. By the way, using a second shrieker would not be helpful, because if a shrieker activates, there's a global 10-second cooldown. So even if you would activate a shrieker, then teleport a million blocks away with an ender pearl, and try to activate a second shrieker a million blocks away would not work. So yeah, 360 is basically the maximum. Okay, then there's maybe one downside of the portal farm design. Mojang already announced that they don't want mobs to spawn in portals anymore. So this farm might stop working already 1.19.1 or 1.20. We don't know when they're actually gonna implement the change. So that's why we also made a, well, future-proof, at least in that regard. You never know what else might change, but this is at least future-proof in regards to portals. Another farm that also almost gets 360 items per hour. It's also quite simple, not much build effort, obviously a little bit more than with the portals. So the way it works, we have just some water dispensers here. And we actually detect the Skull Shrieker this time. So I'm just gonna place down a bot again. Okay, so the observer can actually detect it, then the water is being sucked in, then the warden spawns and is immediately flushed up and out of range of the shrieker. So next one is incoming any moment, there it goes, and is flushed into the bubble elevator. Yeah, then just 24 blocks up, it's being flushed over here with the water streams, and again is killed with entity cramming. And this way we're also getting 354 items per hour, because we're only using this 2x11 spawning platform. Just a technicality, why didn't we make it a bit larger? Because of the system here to get the warden into the bubble elevator. So we're using the walls here, and if the water isn't high enough, so if you move this out one more block, then it already doesn't get pushed on top of the walls and into the Soul Sand bubble elevator anymore. That's why 2x11, but well, does it really matter if you're getting 254 or 360 items per hour? I think it's definitely not worth it to overcomplicate it. So really simple design still, and almost as efficient as the portal design. If you want to check out the farms, there will be a world download in the description. But of course, this might be a bit tricky to build in survival. That's why I'm also gonna make a tutorial. I'm gonna start my tutorial channel next week, and they will also show you how you can prepare the area around the Shrieker in an actual normal world generation. It's not too hard, but yeah, basically just need to make sure that nothing else spawns within that 11x11x13 area around the Shrieker. Then the farm is working. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks guys for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye!